Yeah, it's the bug. No, I don't have your money yet. Come on, Chi-Chi, give me a break. I'm good for it. I just need a little more time. You know I am. Please. Just another couple of days.
Freeze! Miami Vice!
Vice of Miami podcast, season 5, we're back at last. With Mark and Tim on the mic, they're bringing heat, they're bringing hype. Guest stars rolling through, oh what a ride. Deep dives in music, let the rhythm guide. Dropping facts and stories you won't believe.
Welcome to the Vice of Miami podcast. I'm your host, Tim, alongside my co-host, Mark. And we're thrilled to take you on a journey through the iconic 80s TV series Miami Vice. Each episode, we delve into the gripping world of detectives Sonny Crockett and Rico Tubbs and the Vice team, reviewing every episode and uncovering the dark storylines, unforgettable guest stars, and the electrifying music that turned Miami Vice into a cult classic. From trivia and fun facts to the occasional goof, we're here to provide a fresh and engaging perspective, whether you're a longtime fan or new to the series. So sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage, and join us on show number 104 as we explore Season 5, Episode 8, Hard Knocks.
And we're going to sound a little different because, Tim, you're here.
Yes, I am. We're actually sitting in the same room. I'm back in Illinois, sitting in Mark's house.
Literally sharing the same microphone. We tried figuring out how to record with two mics, plugged in the same computer, but we'll make it go. Everyone else seems to make it go. So, Tim's here visiting, but he's here. And like I said before we started, Tim, it'd be nice if we were live on location, like at Bayside Marina. Or where would you like to be on location? Give me a quick spot.
I'd like to be where the St. Vitus was.
The Bayside Marina.
Bayside Marina.
You wouldn't want to be in Izzy's apartment, or?
Oh, we could do. Yeah, we could always do by Izzy's apartment if they would let us in there, if it still exists.
How about the second location? Maybe with some donuts with Ludovici in the Freedom Tower.
Ludovici, yes.
Overlooking the whole bay and all that. So if the sound ain't that great, we're kind of moving back and forth in front of the microphone. So please bear with us. So you set to go, Tim?
Yep. Keep going, Mark.
All right. So we are written by Richard Ward, Scott Shepard, Ken Solars, and the teleplay is by Ken Solars. Directed by Vern Gillum. Original air date January 20th, 1989. It's the 98th episode overall. The production code 63910-98. And our plot. Switek's gambling problems result in him asking a friend's son, a star college quarterback, to throw a big game. Have we heard this before? All right, we're going to check out the guest stars and the co-stars. Our highlight for this one is Jordan Clark as Mac Mulhern. He was born July 21st, 1950 in Rochester, New York, and he's an American actor. Clark appeared in the soap opera The Guiding Light in two different roles, one from 1974 to 1976, and the other, Billy Lewis, for which he won a Daytime Emmy for Best Supporting Actor, periodically from 1982 to 2009. Some notable filmography included Safe Passage and The White Squall. TV appearances include The Tony Randall Show, Venice, and The Executioner's Song, which was a TV movie. And not much can be found about his personal life. Moving along with the rest of the guest stars, we've got Richard Jenkins as Marvin Goodman, Victor Slezak as Horowitz, James L. Silverman as Mac Mulhern, Felicia Raffield as Holly, and Richard Joseph Paul as Kevin Mulhern.
And Mark, our co-stars are Augie Brown as Coach, Ismael East Carlo as Chi-Chi, Darren DePaulo as Alonzo, Peter Fournier as Fan, George Mato as Pit Boss, Carell Myers as the dealer, and Terry Swift as Valerie.
Hey, Chi-Chi, grab the yayo.
And Mark, for the Miami Vice in the news, actor Richard Jenkins is set to star in the American crime procedural titled Criminal, which will air on Amazon Prime Video. So to start off our discussion, we begin the episode at a football stadium, and we're assuming it's during practice. And Switek makes a call to a guy named Chi-Chi regarding some gambling debts. He is sweating. Either it's the Miami humidity or the details of not having money that's coming due to Chi-Chi. He then goes to watch his friend Mac Mulhern's son Kevin's football practice when a rolling gambling den inside of Vernon Bob's truck heads into town. The driver is alerted to the presence of a waiting posse of Metro-Dade police, along with Gina and Trudy and Crockett and Tubbs. And the bookmakers try to eliminate the evidence, but are stopped by the cops. How the trailer became detached from the truck is beyond me. You know, I thought about that too, Mark, because usually you got to be outside the truck to do that, but he had this remote way of doing it.
Probably pressure switch or something like that, or maybe a cable. I don't know. It was just weird. And he's just gone. The driver's gone, right? I mean, as far as I remember, the driver was gone. It was just the trailer and the dudes in the back.
He took off. He left them. He left them twisting in the wind.
High and dry. You're on your own, pals. So anyway, we're at OCB now, and the Vice team's going over the bust and how Chi-Chi got away. Stan is staring off into space, kind of daydreaming. His mind is definitely elsewhere. Castillo congratulates the team on dismantling the gambling operation and getting 10 of the bookies. Crockett here feels that someone tipped off Chi-Chi, but doesn't really know who. Castillo decides to let the bookies off on a low bail, hoping that they're going to lead them to Chi-Chi. You know, kind of like, go ahead, free to go. Obviously, you're going to be contacting these people, so good point. He calls Switek into his office after the meeting to let him know he's been turned down again on a promotion to sergeant. Not necessarily because of his abilities, but because of a lack of funding. Disappointed, Switek lets Castillo know that he's getting frustrated at his lack of progress and basically suffering from burnout.
So next we move to Chi-Chi's and then a casino. And Chi-Chi and Marvin Goodman are meeting about the recent raid, and it's implied that Goodman tipped the cops off. Switek goes to a casino where he runs into Kevin and his agent, Jerome Horowitz. Switek isn't thrilled that Kevin and Horowitz are there, and he leaves. While Kevin racks up $100,000 in gambling debts, Chi-Chi gets killed by Goodman's muscle. Then we move to a bar and diner, and assuming owned or managed by Kevin's dad, Stan and he are talking about Kevin, and his dad is obviously upset at his lack of effort on the field. Stan says he's too hard on him and should be supportive, and then his dad just ripped into Stan, calling him soft and things like that.
Right. Yeah. What'd you expect me type to do? What do you think? Who do you think you are talking to me like this? That type of thing.
Well, you're in a delightful mood. What's eating you?
You know what it is, Stan. It's a damn kid. I busted my hump to give him every opportunity to make the big time. Running plays with him, practices, workouts, I mean the whole 9 yards. And don't get me wrong, it'll be worth it if he makes it.
But
Well, you think he'd show the least bit of gratitude.
gratitude. Kevin loves you, Mac. Isn't that enough? Look, it isn't my place to talk about this with you, but don't you think Kevin needs a little positive feedback?
Oh, positive feedback. What are you, one of them new age head shrinks?
No, but a blind man can see you're too hard on him. If he is headed in the wrong direction, it's even more important you be supportive.
Hey, listen to you. Who busted his butt night and day practicing with the kid?
I know that, Mac, but it's not always what you do.
You know something, Stan? It took me till now to realize it. But you're a jerk.
So now we're at OCB, and the Vice crew's talking about Chi-Chi here getting whacked, and who would be first on the list of many to jump at the chance to do so? I mean, take a number, right? Castillo orders everyone to check it out while Crockett and Tubbs cover for a missing Switek. his second missed day in the week. And they feel it's due to his being passed over for a promotion and plan to talk to him a little bit later. Meanwhile, we see the missing Stan being roughed up by either Chi-Chi's goons or Goodman's, and they want the money that he owes. They want Stan to press Kevin on blowing the game in not so many words. And Tim, where'd we see this episode before? We'll get there, right?
We'll get there
in our reviews, but nothing new type of thing. So now we're at a football practice where Kevin is, and the same goons meet up with Kevin. I think it was under the stands, and rough him up as well. They didn't say in both scenes necessarily to blow the game, but it's obviously implied and assumed for sure. So now we're at Horowitz's office, and Kevin goes to see him and tells him he needs 200 large and fast. Horowitz refuses to help him, says Kevin brought all this on himself, and Kevin's like, well, you introduced me to this stuff, so it's kind of your fault. Anyway, back at practice here, he's doing his impression of Aaron Rodgers. Basically, he stinks. I know Aaron Rodgers won his first game, but whatever, barely. Anywho, his dad and Switek are watching on from the stands, and his dad pretty much has had enough and confronts Kevin in the locker room, pushing and shoving, and they come to nearly blows, but they're screaming at each other while everyone's watching on. And you could tell his dad is really miffed that he basically stinks.
So now we're at Stan's place, and he's watching basketball and has an obvious deep slide into funk Bible growing. You know, where you just plain give up. His girlfriend, Holly, says it's just a game when a team he bets on loses. He snaps at her and says she wants to know what's up. They talk a little bit. He then gets a call from his bookie about the money. He then says essentially he cannot ask Kevin to throw the game as he and his dad mean too much to him. The bookie threatens the safety of his girlfriend now, and then there's some silence. Then we end up Kevin and Switek going to Woody's strip club where Kevin talks about his gambling problems, most likely prompted by Jerome, and Switek suggests he throw the game Saturday to make things right. And this is the first time actually somebody says throw the game.
Yeah. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They get right to the point.
These guys you owe, they're bad news.
You know him? Then bust him, Stan.
Nah, it wouldn't help. They'll still collect. I only see one way out of this.
Well, what can I do?
You're gonna have to throw the game. Throw it all away. Give it all up.
So now we're at OCB. Crockett, Tubbs, and Castillo are talking about, once again, having info from Izzy. And I say once again because they're just talking about the information that Izzy had. Izzy's not there. I mean, this is where he would come in, right?
You would think that they would have brought him into the episode,
right? Just
because it's always good to have Iz actually there.
Right, exactly. So again, they're just, we talked to Izzy, we got this. Well, I talked to the plumber and, whatever. Anywho, Izzy informs them that Chi-Chi was being courted by Goodman, who himself works for the Cappelletti family, and Chi-Chi was killed when he refused their offer to merge. Castillo wants them to keep their eyes on Goodman. Meanwhile, here, Goodman gets a visit from Horowitz, saying he feels bad for setting up Kevin like he did because of his immense potential. They both hope that Kevin is a team player. Switek is listening into the conversation from the old Bugbuster van outside, and he's kind of formulating his own plan on what he's going to do to these people.
And now we get this montage where we see a rough-looking Stan at night walking along the streets, probably half in the bag. He ends up at the Saison Hotel to buy into a card game. There are other casino games there as well. We then see him sitting on a bench, nipping from a bottle in a brown bag.
Tim, is it me or did his beard get more full in this scene from the poker game to his outside nipping at the bottle? And his jacket got dirty mysteriously.
I don't know. Maybe it's one of them goofs. We'll see if we pick up on it. But yeah, he did grow a nice 3 o'clock shadow really quickly. We get quick scenes of Holly waiting at home with dinner on a table. She eventually leaves. Stan gets into the typical bar fight and loses essentially. Well, if you're a stumble drunk, that's going to happen. Crockett and Tubbs show up just in the nick of time and get him out of there.
Yep. You lost enough money. So now we're outside of Stan's place. The trio are outside. They're in the caddy, pretty much having a heart-to-heart with Stan. He says nothing's up. He just basically got drunk. Tubbs rebuts that this is not a one-time thing. They've been watching him. He says his problem is Holly. She wants to keep pressing on. I think he said marriage or something like that, or basically just wants him to be there. Crockett and Tubbs see right through the BS. And Stan here is getting miffed that they are prying in his private life. Meanwhile, at Club Deuce, Mac is caught by Goodman's goons as he was locking up. They knock him out, throw him in a trunk, and take off. Switek wakes up at his place to find Goodman and his goons waiting, who threaten to kill him and Kevin if Kevin doesn't throw the game. So now the stakes are high.
So now Stan finds Kevin at the football stadium. Kevin wants nothing to do with him. Stan says the goons have his dad and he must throw the game. At a bar, Stan is watching the game and hearing that it's not going well for Kevin is obviously dejected. The bartender reminds him not to bust up the joint again. So now we're at Horowitz's office and Horowitz is watching the game too. Stan barges in and starts smacking him around to find out where Mac is. He says they have him at Chi-Chi's. Horowitz pulls a gun on Stan. They scuffle. Shots are fired, and Horowitz goes flying over the balcony, crashing onto a glass table. Stan calls Crockett and Tubbs at OCB and says where Mac is. Crockett says to wait and not handle these guys alone. Stan says to come and get the bodies.
He's basically flying solo on this.
And he failed to mention that he dumped Horowitz.
Yeah. He kind of fell. Call an ambulance. He might be alive. Who knows? So Stan sneaks into a bar. Maybe it's Chi-Chi's. It really, I was confused, but anyway, Stan sneaks in there. Goodman and some other dudes are watching the game and watching Mac watch his son toss the game. Mac is tied up, basically hanging from the ceiling. Stan knocks out one of the goons in the kitchen, startles another goon, and they exchange some gunfire. Stan caps him one, and Goodman and the other dudes scatter. Stan unloads on this other guy, and Crockett and Tubbs finally show up. They announce themselves to the other guys who were just sitting there watching the game or doing nothing while all this gunfire is going on, right?
Exactly, yes.
Sitting at the table. It's like, okay, you're just going to let this stuff go on, but I guess that's what goons do. I don't know. I'm not a goon. They finally scatter. More gunfire is exchanged. Goodman is drawn down upon by Stan as he announces that he's a cop. And how did Goodman not know this? I mean, you think, he's a bookie, whatever. He's got connections. He owes money. He doesn't know this stuff about who he's dealing with,
You would think.
I mean, you want to know what these people's assets are so you could put the pressure on them. But I don't know. I'm not a bookie. I'm not a goon. Goodman says Stan won't do anything as he knows all his secrets, but he didn't know he was a cop. Whatever. Just then, a still tied up Mac kicks him over the balcony. Goodman legs just so happen to get entangled some cables, and he goes dangling. After the dust settles, Crockett and Tubbs ask Stan how he knew the goons were there. He said he bugged Horowitz's office, and Crockett's like, "You didn't get a court order for that?" Yeah, okay.
He said, there was no time.
Yeah.
I had to move on it. They had Mac.
Yeah.
So now back at the football game, which, wouldn't you know it, just so happens to only be at the second half. Kevin is pulled from the game. As the team heads out of locker room, Stan and Mac walk in. We see Kevin call for his coach, and then there's a freeze frame. We assume he was put back in the game. And then Stan returns home. Kevin is there and asks why he did what he did. Kevin is going to be on probation for a while, but swears he won't to anyone Stan was in on it. He won't let anybody know that. They both say they'll beat the gambling addiction. A little later, Stan is chilling with some beer and pizza when Crockett walks up and asks how he's doing. Eventually, Crockett pulls out a notebook he took from Goodman's body. It's a ledger that has Stan's name all over it. Crockett says Stan is the only one who really knows what's going on and hands over the book. Crockett says they will help him out to get back in line because we're partners.
But that's what partners do.
I found it on Goodman's body. Your name's all over it.
I'm a good cop, Sonny.
I believe that, Stan. Look, you're the only one who really knows what went on here. And I guess you'll have to live with that.
I don't know, Sonny.
We'll help you, Stan. Hell, we're your partners.
All right, time to check out the ratings. IMDb gives us a 7.3. Tim, what do you say?
You know, Mark, this episode was definitely a bounce back from the Asian cut. I like that it was Stan-centric. We did not get much of that. I think there was really, the only other one would have been Made for Each Other, where it was that Made for Each Other between Stan and Zito and Izzy and Noogie. You know, we see him getting deeper in debt due to his gambling habit. From what I could recall, this was the first time I heard the name Holly mentioned as his girlfriend or fiance. We weren't sure about that. It was really straightforward police work with Stan doing most of the heavy lifting. He caused drunkenness, mayhem, and a warrantless bug placed in a lawyer's office. I'm not sure if he will get away with all of this. Does Crockett cover for him? I have also noticed that Gina has not really played a big role in this season so far. We can tell it is getting towards the end of the Miami Vice series. I love Stan's Elgato Poncer moment. People, if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Also, an episode centered on football, which is appropriate for a new season. Go Bears.
Yeah, go Bears, right? What did they do Monday? Oh, that's right. They lost. There's hope. It's a long season. At first, I was right away thrown into, they already did this. Season 2 episode, The Fix, with Judge Ferguson's kid playing basketball and may have to throw his game for his dad's debts. I mean, basically a rehashed him.
A
right?
rehash.
Yeah. Like you said, getting towards the end, getting kind of long-winded. They're kind of like, what can we do now type of thing, and the writers are. Almost the same exact story. Then I was swayed by one of the very few Stan-centric episodes, maybe 2 at the most do we get here. We saw the start of his gambling 2 episodes ago when he made that quick phone call. Now it's come to a head, and almost his head being cut off. Good story, but could have had some changes to make it even more Stan-centered. Maybe if they had him more into a dive because of Zito being gone and him essentially being a third wheel in the Vice team. You know, you got Crockett and Tubbs and Gina and Trudy, and now you just got Stan. So he kind of feels left out, I'm guessing. So, you know, I could have gotten behind that type of angle for sure. But yeah, tell the writers you're just phoning in at this point, and the typical downward spiral into a night of binge drinking, the beard growing by the hour, clothes mysteriously getting dirty, a bar fight, the girlfriend / fiance leaving cold dinner on the table. The one saving grace is that always, like Crockett said, the Vice gang sticks together, and Crockett even said so at the end.
You know what I'm wondering here, Mark, if Holly's going to actually come back. Did she leave him for good, or are we going to see her again? Only if it becomes Stan-centric, or he happens to mention her passing. Just a thought.
Yep.
Now we have the music for this episode. The first up, we have Big League by Tom Cochran and Red Rider, which is the opening sequence at the football game. And then we have Nobody's Perfect by Mike and the Mechanics. And that's when Switek is playing poker.
You mean when he was losing at poker? Our only Tim Truman music that was credited, we've got Over the Line, and that's when Crockett and Tubbs are talking to Switek after his night of losing. All right, let's check out the goofs, fun facts, and locations. Our first location, Club Ocho, 3600 Southwest 8th Street in Miami, and that's Chi-Chi's Club.
And Mark, we have a goof here. Kevin is shown to have an agent while playing college football. At this time, 1989, college players were forbidden from using agents under NCAA rules and were declared ineligible if they had one. In contemporary times, with the advent of name, image, and likeness, NIL, regulations, as well as transfer changes, this rule is now no longer active.
And in my opinion, it's going to be the downfall of good college football as we know it. Is now just going to be who could throw the best money or the most money at the best players around.
Yes.
It's not going to be true college kids doing what they can do and learning how they can learn. We've got a location, Oceanic Breeze Apartments, 7615 Harding Avenue in Miami Beach. That's Switek's apartment exterior. And the interior is a studio set.
And Mark, we have a good quote. I know you're a good cop, Stan, and we'll help you out. Hell, we're partners. And that was Crockett to Switek at the end.
All right, let's check out the trivia for this episode. Last episode, we asked, when Gina is pretending to be the escort call taker, what's the phone number she gives Carlos? And that is the usual 555 prefix, 8723. Tim, what do you got this episode?
Mark, for this episode's question, what is advertised on the side of the semi at the beginning of the episode? We already told you that there was Vernon Bob's, but there's something else. What was Vernon Bob's selling? You have also a bonus question. What license plates are on the front bumper of the truck? And we'll just tell you that there are two. What were they? You can post your answers on this episode's Facebook post, or you can email us at miamivice@duck.com.
All right, we've arrived at Mindful Music. We'd like to share a quick clip of a song that we think will send some peaceful or inspiring vibes your way. With the show, as well as our own lives, we might have many issues or stressful times that we encounter. With these song choices, we can hopefully quiet the mind and make those issues less of an obstacle for your day. This episode focuses on addiction, which is common amongst first responders. A song that resonates with this theme is Someone I Used to Know by the Zac Brown Band.
Hometown hero at the bar, burned out highlight superstar, you know. Kept the buzz to fill the hole, loved the lights, stole the show. Someone I used to know would stay another round. Someone I used to know ran himself in the ground. It's been a long time coming, couldn't keep on running, had to hit rock bottom to know. When you keep on losing with the path you're choosing, and it's time to let go. Someone that I used to know. down, hates himself and loves the crowd. The king pulls a heavy crown, didn't know we almost drowned. Someone I used to know would stay another round. Someone I used to know ran himself in the ground.
Thanks to all of you for tuning into the Vice of Miami podcast. We hope you enjoyed our look into the world of Miami Vice. If you love what you heard, please leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps us out. Don't forget to follow us on social media for updates and more Miami Vice goodness. You can find us at YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at the Vice of Miami podcast. Our next episode, number 105, which covers episode 9, Fruit of the Poison Tree. Until next time, stay stylish and keep the Vice alive. And just before we sign off, we're recording this on September 11th, the 24th anniversary of probably one of the darkest days in the history of the United States. There's been many, but this was a big one.
Yep.
And with that, now...
You gonna talk to us, pal, or do I have to